Walk into a Swedish apartment in Stockholm and something hits you almost immediately. The room is not large, the ceiling is not particularly high, the furniture is not expensive or elaborate, and yet the space feels open, calm, and somehow much larger than it actually is. There is no clutter sitting on the countertop. There are no shoes scattered near the door. There are no bags dumped on chairs that were never meant to hold bags. Everything seems to occupy exactly the space it was designed to occupy, and nothing more. This is not an accident. Sweden has one of the highest proportions of single-person and small household apartments in all of Europe, according to data from the Swedish National Board of Housing, known as Boverkit. Millions of Swedes have spent generations solving the same fundamental problem that drives people everywhere a little bit crazy. Too much stuff. Not enough space and never quite enough time to keep everything under control. The result is a design culture and a set of organizing habits that are genuinely different from what most of the world practices. Not more expensive, not more complicated, just more deliberate. Today, we are exploring 11 Swedish home organization ideas that can instantly make better use of the space you already have. Some of them involve specific storage tools. Some involve rethinking the way a room is used entirely. All of them come from the same underlying logic. Every centimeter of a home should earn its place, and the best organization system is one that practically maintains itself. Let us start with the idea that changes the way Swedish designers think about every single wall in a room. 1. The pegboard wall. Every surface is potential storage. In Sweden, a blank wall is rarely seen as decoration waiting to happen. It is storage waiting to be built. The pegboard wall, a large panel fitted with rows of small pegs or hooks that hold tools, bags, kitchen utensils, plants, shelves, and almost anything else, became a central organizing idea in Scandinavian homes long before it appeared in lifestyle magazines around the world. The logic is simple and almost impossible to argue against. Every object that hangs on a wall is an object that does not sit on a countertop, pile up on a shelf, or disappear into a drawer. In a small Swedish apartment, pegboards are installed in kitchens to hold pots, pans, ladles, and cutting boards. In home offices, they carry cables, notebooks, headphones, and chargers. In children's rooms, they display toys, art supplies, and small plants at a height the child can actually reach. The beauty of the system is that it is completely reconfigurable. A kitchen pegboard reorganized in 10 minutes looks entirely different and works for an entirely new set of objects without a single tool being removed from the wall. Swedish design brand IKEA, whose entire philosophy emerged from the same small space culture of the Småland region, built the Scottish pegboard line around exactly this principle. Modular, lightweight, infinitely adjustable, and genuinely useful rather than merely decorative. If you have a wall that currently holds nothing but paint, you already have the most underused storage surface in your home. The only question is what you want to hang on it first. 2. The entryway system. The Swedish hall as a first line of defense. In most Swedish homes, the hallway is not a corridor you pass through. It is a dedicated system designed to stop outdoor mess from ever reaching the living room. This matters more than it might sound. The Swedish climate, long winters, heavy boots, wet coats, umbrellas, and scarves means that without a proper entry system, a small apartment becomes cluttered and damp within minutes of anyone arriving home. The classic Swedish entryway combines 3 things: a shoe rack or built-in bench with storage underneath, a coat rail or row of hooks positioned at multiple heights, and a small shelf or tray near the door, specifically for keys, mail, and small daily items. Each element is deliberately placed so that everything from outside the home stays at the door and never migrates further in. The bench serves a double purpose. It provides somewhere to sit while removing shoes, and the storage beneath it handles seasonal footwear that does not need to be accessible every single day. The coat rail handles jackets, scarves, and bags without those items ever landing on a dining chair or the back of a sofa. The key tray eliminates the entire category of lost items, because nothing small ever has a reason to wander further into the apartment. This is not a complicated system, and it does not require a large hallway to work. Even a dedicated hook strip, a small box for shoes, and a single shallow tray near a front door creates most of the same benefit. The Swedish idea here is straightforward. The home's organization begins the moment someone walks through the front door, not an hour later when they finally put things away. 3. Floating shelves at unexpected heights. Using the space nobody thinks about. Here is something easy to miss in a well-organized Swedish apartment. The shelves are not always where you would expect them to be. Rather than placing shelving at standard counter height or eye level, Swedish interiors frequently use floating shelves positioned high on walls, just below the ceiling, in spaces that most people treat as dead air. A row of wooden floating shelves installed 30 centimeters below the ceiling of a living room can hold dozens of books, boxed storage containers, seasonal decorations, and rarely used items without occupying a single square centimeter of floor space. Because the shelves sit above the primary sightline when someone is standing in the room, they create a sense of height rather than a sense of clutter. The same principle applies in kitchens, where a single high floating shelf along one wall can hold all the items that otherwise compete for counter space. A coffee machine, a toaster, extra glasses, cookbooks, small appliances used only occasionally. In a bedroom, a floating shelf above the door frame holds items accessed only a few times a year without taking up any space in the wardrobe or drawers below. The reason this idea works so consistently in small spaces is that most people's storage planning stops at eye level. Swedish designers simply kept going upward, using every available meter of vertical height rather than stopping at the point where a standard bookcase ends. If you have never looked at the space between the top of your tallest furniture and the ceiling as usable storage, you are leaving some of the easiest space in your home completely unused. 4. The multifunctional sofa, the piece of furniture that does 3 jobs at once. Swedish apartment design has a fundamental rule when it comes to furniture. If a piece only does one thing, it probably does not belong in a small space. The sofa is the most obvious place this principle shows up. Sofas in Swedish small apartment design almost always incorporate storage underneath, either through a lift-up seat base that reveals a large compartment for blankets, pillows, and seasonal items, or through drawers built into the base that handle books, remote controls, chargers, and anything else that tends to accumulate in a living room. Some models fold flat to become a guest bed, eliminating the need for a separate spare bedroom or the awkward inflatable mattress that otherwise lives in a closet. The same logic extends to coffee tables with lift-up tops and hidden storage inside, to ottomans that open to reveal blanket storage and double as extra seating, and to benches at the end of a bed that hold linens rather than simply providing a surface to pile clothes on. The Swedish approach to furniture selection is essentially this. Every large piece of furniture occupies a footprint of floor space that cannot be recovered, so each piece must justify that footprint by doing more than one job. A sofa that only provides seating uses its floor space less efficiently than a sofa that provides seating and holds everything that would otherwise need its own dedicated storage unit. It is a simple calculation, but when applied consistently across an entire apartment, it eliminates the need for several pieces of furniture entirely, which in turn makes the remaining space feel dramatically more open. 5. Transparent storage boxes with labels. Seeing everything without opening anything. Open a storage cupboard in a well-organized Swedish home and you will almost certainly see the same thing. Rows of matching transparent boxes, each one clearly labeled, each one holding a specific category of items. This is not aesthetic minimalism for the sake of a photograph. It is a practical system built around a single insight that most people discover only after years of frustrated searching through opaque boxes. If you cannot see what is inside a container without opening it, you will eventually stop trusting the system and start accumulating new piles instead. Swedish homes use transparent storage boxes extensively in wardrobes, pantry cupboards, underbed storage, bathroom cabinets, and children's toy storage. The label on each box means that every member of the household knows where something belongs and where to find it without asking. The matching sizes mean the boxes stack neatly and make efficient use of shelf depth without wasted gaps. The transparency means that at a glance, from across the room, you can see whether a box is nearly empty or nearly full, which is information that drives both restocking and decluttering before problems develop. Swedish brands like IKEA and the storage-focused sections of Åhléns have built entire product lines around the system because it works consistently across nearly every room in a home. It is worth noting that the labeling is at least as important as the transparency. A transparent box with no label becomes a collection point for random items. A transparent box with a clear label has a defined purpose that resists accumulation naturally. 6. The kitchen rail system. The wall as a full working surface. Swedish kitchens, particularly in apartments where counter space is genuinely limited, frequently use horizontal metal rails mounted directly to the wall above the cooking area. From these rails hang magnetic knife strips, S-hooks holding utensils, small baskets for herbs or spices, paper towel holders, and sometimes even small pots. The effect is immediate and significant. Every item that moves off the counter and onto the wall creates open work surface below, which makes cooking easier, cleaning faster, and the kitchen feel larger. The rail system is not decorative. Every item on it is there because it is used regularly enough to justify hanging at hand height. Items used only occasionally are stored elsewhere. The rail holds only the daily essentials, and because each one has a specific hook or basket assigned to it, returning things to their place after use takes only a moment. Swedish kitchen designers treat the wall above the stove and below the overhead cabinets as a fully usable working surface, equivalent to any shelf or drawer. Most kitchens in homes outside Scandinavia leave this zone entirely empty. In a space where every centimeter matters, the kitchen rail system turns the most underused vertical surface in the room into one of the most functional storage areas in the entire apartment. 7. The fold-down desk. The home office that disappears when work ends. Sweden has one of the highest rates of remote and hybrid work in Europe, and a strong tradition of small apartment living means that millions of Swedes needed to solve the home office problem long before it became a global conversation. The fold-down desk, a wall-mounted surface that unfolds horizontally to create a full working area and folds flat again when not in use, is one of the most practical solutions that Swedish and Scandinavian furniture design has produced for small spaces. When open, a fold-down desk provides a proper working surface, often with built-in shelving, cable management, and small compartments for stationery above or beside the main surface. When closed, it occupies no floor space whatsoever, and often looks like a simple piece of wall art or a slim cabinet. In an apartment where there is no dedicated room for a home office, this single piece of furniture prevents the constant compromise of working at the dining table and then having to clear everything away for meals. It creates a clear psychological boundary between work time and home time, because the desk being folded shut is a physical signal that work is done for the day, a signal that becomes genuinely important when the home and the office occupy the same space. Swedish furniture designers have refined the fold-down desk concept to the point where modern versions feel sturdy and properly proportioned, rather than like a temporary solution. For anyone living in a 1 or 2 room apartment who works from home regularly, it may be the single highest value piece of furniture worth investing in. 8. Hooks at every height. The solution for things that never have a home. Here is a small truth about clutter. Most of it is not random. Most clutter comes from a specific category of objects, bags, jackets, scarves, headphones, belts, charger cables, that do not have a dedicated storage spot and therefore end up on whatever flat surface is nearest. Swedish homes solve this with an almost aggressive commitment to hooks. Hooks appear beside the front door at adult height and at child height. They appear inside wardrobe doors for bags and belts. They appear on the inside of bathroom cabinet doors for hair dryers and curling tools. They appear beside the kitchen sink for dishcloths and oven gloves. They appear at the end of hallways for tote bags and backpacks. Each hook costs almost nothing and takes minutes to install. but each hook eliminates a category of object that would otherwise land on a chair, a counter, or a floor. The Swedish approach here is not to wonder where something should go and then find a place for it. It is to identify where something always ends up landing and then install a hook at exactly that spot, so the habit that already exists becomes the correct habit automatically. This is the organizing principle that costs the least, requires the least discipline, and delivers some of the most immediate visible results of anything on this list. If you have one chair in your home that always has clothes on it, the problem is not discipline. The problem is the absence of a hook within reach of where you naturally take those clothes off. 9. Underbed storage. The largest unused surface in most bedrooms. The space under a bed is one of the most consistently wasted storage areas in homes outside Scandinavia. In Swedish apartment design, the bed frame is almost always chosen with the expectation that the space below will be used actively. Low platform beds with built-in drawers on both sides provide enough storage for an entire season's worth of clothing, bedding, and bulky items that do not need to be accessed daily. Beds with higher clearance use slim rolling storage boxes with lids, designed to slide out easily when needed and disappear completely when pushed back under the frame. The benefit of underbed storage is not just the cubic volume it provides. It is also that the items stored there are genuinely out of sight and out of the way without requiring a separate room, wardrobe, or storage unit to hold them. A standard queen-size bed frame with storage drawers on both sides can realistically hold the equivalent of a full chest of drawers and items, eliminating that piece of furniture from the bedroom entirely and recovering the floor space it would have occupied. Swedish bedroom design consistently treats the floor plan of a bedroom as something to be maximized rather than accepted, and the bed, as the largest footprint in the room, is the most logical place to start. If your current bed frame provides no storage below and you are short on bedroom space, switching to a frame that does is likely the single highest yield furniture change you can make in that room. 10. The bathroom cabinet maximizer. Turning one shelf into 4. Swedish bathrooms, especially in apartments, are almost always small. The organizing solutions that have emerged from decades of making small bathrooms feel functional without feeling cramped are among the most transferable ideas in this entire video. The most practical is the internal cabinet maximizer, a combination of small risers, narrow-tiered shelves, and door-mounted organizers that turns the interior of a single bathroom cabinet into 4 or 5 distinct storage levels. A riser on the bottom shelf creates 2 levels where one existed before. A narrow tiered shelf beside the mirror organizes skincare products by frequency of use rather than by random placement. A small rail mounted on the inside of the cabinet door holds tubes, nail files, and cotton pads in slim pockets, rather than letting them pile up on the shelf behind. The combined effect is that a bathroom cabinet, which previously held perhaps 20 items, now holds 45 or 50. All visible, all accessible, and none stacked on top of each other. Swedish pharmacies and homeware stores sell specific cabinet organizing systems designed for this exact purpose, and the designs are consistent, slim, lightweight, and sized to fit inside standard cabinet dimensions rather than requiring a cabinet replacement. The bathroom is the room where most small home organizations break down fastest, because the items in it are the least predictable in shape and size. The answer is not a larger bathroom, it is a system that imposes order on the irregular shapes already inside the one you have. 11. The seasonal rotation system. Everything you own, organized by when you need it. The final Swedish organizing idea is the one that ties all the others together, and it is more of a philosophy than a piece of furniture. Swedish homes operate on what designers and organizing experts in Scandinavia call the seasonal rotation system, a deliberate practice of dividing all possessions into what is needed now, what will be needed in 3 to 6 months, and what is needed only rarely or never. Items needed now live in the most accessible locations: the front of the wardrobe, the most reachable drawers, the countertop, the open shelves at eye level. Items needed in 3 to 6 months: winter coats in summer, summer clothes in winter, holiday decorations, sports equipment for other seasons, live in underbed storage, high floating shelves, labeled boxes on top of wardrobes, or dedicated storage solutions and entryway benches. Items needed rarely or never are examined twice a year and either relocated, donated, or removed from the home entirely. The reason this system is so effective is that it prevents the gradual accumulation that undermines every other organizing system on this list. A transparent storage box on a high shelf stays useful as long as its contents are genuinely things you will use in the next 6 months. The moment it becomes a holding place for things you might use someday, it has crossed into clutter territory, regardless of how neatly it is labeled. Swedish homes look organized not because their owners are unusually disciplined, but because the system they use actively forces a decision about every item twice a year. That regular review is what keeps the space working, and it is arguably the single most important habit that supports every other idea on this list. Looking at all 11 of these ideas together, the underlying pattern becomes clear. Swedish home organization is not about owning less for its own sake, and it is not about perfect aesthetics for a photograph. It is about building systems where every object has a designated place that it naturally returns to. Every surface serves a purpose beyond collecting things, and every piece of furniture earns its floor space by doing more than one job. A pegboard wall, an entryway system, floating shelves near the ceiling, storage furniture, transparent labeled boxes, a kitchen rail, a fold-down desk, hooks at every height, underbed storage, a maximized bathroom cabinet, and a seasonal rotation habit. None of these require a renovation. None require a large budget. All of them require only a decision to use the space you already have more deliberately. So here is the question worth sitting with. Which room in your home has the most unused vertical space right now? Start there. Let us know in the comments which of these 11 ideas you are going to try first. And if you enjoy discovering the design philosophies and everyday habits that make Nordic homes so remarkably livable, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. We will see you in the next one.